Hi everyone, welcome to another segment, probably the last segment on chapter 1. And here we're going to look at the production possibility curve and see how it's affected by economic growth and by technological change. And remember, the production possibility curve shows the maximum combinations of outputs that an economy can produce, and those outputs are indicated on the curve, the production possibility curve. So we want to show how economic growth and technological change can be seen in our model. Okay, so let's show how we can indicate economic growth on our production possibility curves. And this one gives students a little bit of trouble sometimes because they forget that this is our potential production. So these production possibility curves show potential production. So here is PP1. So let's say this year, the maximum number of cars and wheat that can be produced is indicated by this production possibility curve. Now I'm going to try and trace this. And you can see I'm not particularly good at it, but that's our production possibility curve 1. What we want to do is say, well, what if there's more land that's kind of discovered that's usable? What if there's more labor that comes to our country? What if there's more capital, more buildings that are produced in our country? And what if there's more entrepreneurial spirit, say from students like you, getting trained at SAIT and moving on into the business world? Well, that means that a country is probably able to produce more of everything. So our whole production possibility curve shifts out like this, and it's PP2. I prefer to show the shift with arrows that look this way because it shows that the whole production possibility curve shifts out. So that indicates economic growth or potential growth. We could be somewhere on this curve, and now this increase in factors of production, land, labor, capital, or entrepreneurial spirit, allow that curve to move out so the economy is able to produce more of everything. Now, the key is they're able to produce doesn't mean we're necessarily on that curve. We could still have unemployment in a country, but the idea is there now that our curve is shifted out because of the increase in the factors of production. So we have the potential to produce both more wheat and cars. So now let's take a look at how technological change can be represented and how it affects a country. So we don't have it indicated on here, they dropped it, but let's make cars on our horizontal axis, C, and wheat production on our vertical axis. So we're looking at producing cars and wheat. And in our first production possibility curve, we can say we're at point A. Well, we can be in truth at any point along this whole PP1. So that's how we start the scenario. And then what happens is we say, well, there's a technological change that comes along that benefits car production. So we shift that curve to say that if we were producing this many cars before, so all of our effort was producing cars and no wheat, make sure you see that, all of our efforts producing cars, but we're producing zero wheat, we can now produce more cars because the change in technology affect car production. We pin our point back here for both curves because if we were on PP1 and only produce wheat and zero cars, then that's how much wheat we could produce. With the new technology that only benefited car production, if we choose to produce only wheat, we can still only produce the same amount of wheat because the technology affected the car production. So then we connect the two dots, and I'm going to try and draw this one. So now that's our new production possibility curve. It pivoted to show that the technology favored car production. But notice what happened. Before we produced at point A, now no one would deny that we can produce anywhere on this new curve, So let's pick point C, for example. And point C has a little bit more car production as measured on the car axis, and it has a little bit more wheat production as measured over here on the wheat axis. So the conclusion is that improvement in technology favoring car production shifts the curve to PP2. But now you can produce more of either good, more of both, or more of one or the other, because the technology has allowed that curve to pivot outwards. So let's do a quick example to indicate this change in technology and how we can show it on the production possibility curve and what it shows in an economy. You'll have an example just like this in your Connect assignment. So to start off, we basically see we've got grain and tools, and we've got 4 combinations, A, B, C, and D. And combination A says 0 grain, and we're putting all our resources into tools, and so on till combination D says 50 grain and 0 tools, so no resources are producing tools. So question A, draw a production possibility curve with tools on the horizontal axis. Okay, so we're just going to plot that. And then it says, assume new technology can be used only in the tool industry, which increases tool output by 50%. Okay, draw a new production possibility curve that reflects that technology. And then it says, if they originally produced 12 units of tools per year, how many units of grain could be produced after the new introduction of technology, assuming they still want to continue producing 12 tools? So let's take a look at this and start plotting those points. So A, B, C, and D are plotted, and we put the line through it. So that's our first production possibility curve, PP1. It says, now new technology allows a 50% increase in tool production. So if I'm producing, right here, I'm producing 4 tools. Let me just erase that. Now I can produce 50% more, which is 2 more tools. So that's 6 tools. Okay, originally here, if I was producing 8 tools, now I can produce 50% more, which is 4 more tools. So that'll be 12 tools. We'll see how accurate I am with my drawing. And before, if we produce 12 tools, now we can produce 50% more. So that's 6 more. 12 plus 6 is 18. Okay, so these would be my new points. And all I'm doing is incorporating that 50% increase in tool production. So let's see if this drew it correctly. There's B2, C2, D2, and draw the line, and I'm pretty accurate with my drawing. So that's our new graph that we wanted to produce. PP2 is right here, our new production possibility curve showing the change in technology that affected tool production. So the last question basically said, if we used to produce 12 tools, how much grain could we produce now with the new technology that helped with tool production? So let's go back. I'll take away this dotted line. And if we used to make 12 tools, fine. We still want to make 12 tools. But with the change in technology, that curve is shifted. So that increase in technology allows us to go to the new production possibility curve, which shows that now we can make 25 grain. How many grain did we used to make? 0. Because when we produced 12 on the first production curve, that means 0 grain. But now 12 tools on the second production curve allows us to produce 25 grain. Go back through that example and this little video we made to make sure you understand the shift in technology, its effect on the production possibility curve, and how it changes the potential outputs of both goods that we're showing on this particular curve. That's the end of chapter 1 as far as these little videos go, and I look forward to talking to you again.